Welcome to the Explainer. You know when you click a button on a website or a map updates without the whole page having to reload? Yeah, that's JavaScript. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on this essential language that pretty much is the modern web. Alright, first things first, we got to talk about that name. JavaScript, Java, are they related? Seriously, getting this one thing straight is the key to, well, understanding everything else. So if it's not Java, why on earth is it called JavaScript? This question has tripped up beginners for decades. What's the real story here? Well, believe it or not, it was originally called LiveScript. But back then, this other language, Java, was the absolute hottest thing in tech. So in what was a pretty clever, if a little misleading marketing move, they just renamed it JavaScript. The idea was to ride Java's coattails, kind of pitching it as its simpler younger brother. So let's just be super clear. It was all a name game. They're fundamentally different. JavaScript is a lightweight scripting language that your browser just runs directly. Java, that's a whole different beast. It's a general purpose language that needs to be compiled before it can run anywhere. They have totally different jobs, and today, zero real connection. Okay, so what's its real job then? Well, think of a basic web page, just HTML, as a static document, like a poster on a wall. JavaScript is the thing that makes that poster come alive. It's the magic behind the drop-down menus, those interactive maps you can zoom and drag, or your social media feed updating without you having to hit refresh. Yep, that's all JavaScript. So how does this plain text code actually do stuff on your screen? It all comes down to a really powerful piece of software that's doing all the heavy lifting for us, right under the hood. See, every single browser you use, I'm talking Chrome, Firefox, Safari, you name it, has this powerful program built right in. It's called a JavaScript engine. It's just sitting there waiting to read and run any JavaScript code it finds on a page. And this whole thing happens in the blink of an eye. First, the engine reads the script. Programmers call this parsing. Then it compiles it, which is basically translating it into raw machine code that your computer can understand. And finally, it runs that code. It's like this super fast three-step dance that happens every single time you load a page. And what's cool is that different browsers have their own engines, and they have these awesome code names. The most famous is probably V8. That's the one in Chrome, Opera, and Edge. Firefox has one called SpiderMonkey. Safari uses JavaScript Core. You'll see these names pop up all the time if you dig into this stuff. Okay, so now we know how it works. But let's talk about what it can, and maybe more importantly, what it can't do. And this is really all about keeping you, the user, safe. Inside the browser, JavaScript's power is, well, it's immense. It can change pretty much anything you see on a web page. You can add new HTML, change the styles and colors, react to your mouse clicks or when you press a key. You can even talk to servers in the background to grab new data and remember things right there on your computer. But here's the crucial part, its limits. For your own protection, JavaScript is heavily restricted. It absolutely cannot read or write random files on your hard drive. It can't run other programs on your computer. And nope, it can't secretly turn on your camera or peek at what's in your other browser tabs. It's like it's forced to play in a secure digital sandbox. And these aren't weaknesses. Not at all. They are fundamental safety features. The whole point is to stop a malicious web page from stealing your private info or messing with your data. So you might be thinking, if it has all these limits, what makes it so special? How did it become the dominant language of the web? Well, it really comes down to three huge things that no other technology has managed to combine in the same way. First up, full integration with HTML and CSS. Think of HTML as the skeleton and CSS as the skin. JavaScript is the only language that can directly control both of them right there in the browser. It's the native language of the web page. Number two, simple things are done simply. It's designed so you can do common tasks with just a little bit of code. That makes it super easy for beginners to get started, but also really efficient for pros who just need to make something happen fast. And finally, number three, and this is the big one, it just works everywhere. Every single major browser supports it, and it's turned on by default for everybody. You don't have to install a plugin, you don't have to check a box, it's just there. But of course, the story doesn't end there, because JavaScript is always evolving. See, a whole ecosystem of new languages has popped up, and they add all kinds of new features, but they all ultimately convert, or transpile, back into plain old JavaScript so the browser can actually run them. So you've got languages like TypeScript from Microsoft or Dart from Google. They let developers use different styles and features, but under the hood, it all gets turned back into JavaScript. In the end, everything relies on that universal JavaScript engine in your browser. And this unique position really makes it one of the most important languages in the world. Which leads to a pretty fascinating question, right? As long as we have web browsers, is JavaScript always going to be the only game in town? What does that mean for the future of the web? Something to think about.